Welcome to this edition of the Weekly Dose, Challenge Your Perspective. This is Patrick Dyer in Washington, D.C. I want to categorically state that I support the digital migration of the Kenyan media. This move, alone as a concept, has the potential to open up free media in the country, allow a varied and a dynamic space where content producers can now produce what they think is important to their community and to disseminate it in much cheaper forms and not depend on major media houses as the only source of information to the Kenyan people. But that's where my support for this move ends. Because I believe the process that allowed two entities, the KBC, which is a government entity, and the Pan-African Network Group, PANG, the sole authority to be the distributors of information in Kenya, is totally wrong. Recently, the Director General of the Communication Authority of Kenya, Mr. Francis Wamgusi, appeared before the Senate Committee on Legal Affairs and Human Rights and disclosed that they do not have the information as who the principal owners of PANG are. Imagine that for a minute, that a company that has been awarded this huge contract to essentially own information that other media groups are producing, nobody knows who the principal owners are. I don't know how Mr. Wamgusi still holds that position. And I really don't know how whoever is in charge of the registrar of companies still have their positions. How did this company, even in the very initial stages, qualify to be considered for such a big authority in the country? This smells like hog poop. It smells to no end. Now, imagine for a minute that content producers out there produce something that may not be favorable to the government, this government and future governments. They have all the authority to squash that. We've seen it, those evidence, when the government raided the Standard and destroyed and confiscated equipment when they thought that some information was going to come out that was not favorable to the government. Now, we know what China has been. China has not been very good in opening up space for their media and freedom of information. And KBC is a government-owned entity. This is not far-fetched. And this would be detrimental to what has been fought for, the freedom of information. Now, yes, we're trying to race with time to come to the world standard of digital media. But I don't think that is enough to make such haste and such huge mistake. And therefore, I urge the media houses, the Nation Group, the Standard, Citizen, that this is something that you have to fight for. You have to fight to have this PANG, whatever contract that was given to them, revoked. You have to take this to the Supreme Court. And for the Supreme Court, when it gets to you, you need to throw this out, because this is not good in the long run for the country. That a company that has been given this much authority, nobody knows who their owners are. It should be a government policy that a foreign company should not own this much power within the country. You know what information is. Information is power. And you're giving this to a foreign entity, to China of all the places, that does not support freedom of information and freedom of media. This is wrong. That's my perspective. What's yours?